So I did a short about this, but I figured, you know what, this is going to be a whole video in of itself. And that is, yes, even I thought it was fake. I resisted at first. I didn't want to believe it. But no, it is the honest truth. The Mummy 4 is actually happening, with Radio Silence directing and doing the script. Most of you guys know best Radio Silence of doing such things as Abigail, their original film Ready or Not, which they're doing the sequel, Screams 5 and 6. In my short, I said 4 and 5. I meant to say 5 and 6. So, and yeah, Radio Silence is getting up there in terms of like horror, and also they're getting good with Universal. Like, they started out with Paramount, but now they're really like, Universal seems to be like, you're gonna work for us now, and Universal and Radio Silence went, okay. Now, yes, this is confirmed. The big thing of having Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz come back for this movie is really cool. Like this, like I know, so someone's gonna say this feels like the Force Awakens, of the Mummy films, and I get that, but hopefully it won't go the route of of the sequel trilogy. And yeah, maybe it's I would have enjoyed this news better if I had got my cup of coffee. Kudos to everyone who understood that reference. You are a true Mummy fan. But yeah, I am really excited for this. Of having, like Brendan has talked about, and even Rachel has talked about wanting to do another Mummy film. They may have hated the third movie, but they never hated the franchise. That's what I like about that. Like, Brendan knows that, like, that's where his real big breakout was, with the Mummy films. Like, yeah, he had done Encino Man and other films before, but the Mummy was what, like, yeah, people know me for that the most. Like, and he's talked about at nauseum of, like, I want to come back, I want to do it. But the thing is, and this is not a knock on Brendan himself, it's just his body was so broken after that, the last three films, and he's not the same man as he was. So I think Brendan will be taking, him and Rachel are older, so they'll probably be taking a back seat to all the action scenes. It'll be probably more of the, a new version of Alexander coming in to help. Because I say new version because it's been confirmed that they will ignore the events of Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which I think is for the best. Because even when I was watching that in my young age, when the Kung Fu Yeti showed up, my brain went, you can stay, but I'm leaving. But yeah, this also makes me wonder, are we going to get, I forget his name, but the actor who played Jonathan, are we going to get Arnold Vosloo back as Imhotep? Are we going to get Oded Fehr back as Ardeth Bay? It does make me wonder about that. Like, it does make me wonder, like, what else could we be getting out of this? Now, what I personally would love, one of the things I really want to see in this movie, or rather don't want to see, I should say, is the fact that, like, I don't want Evie and Brendan divorced. Or like they're separated. I know that's kind of the movie trend. Like, oh, they find love again. You have missed the point of the whole. Even the third movie, their whole thing was they love each other, like, a lot. Like, they really love each other. So how about you don't do that for the next film? You keep them together. I know it's tempting to, like, rekindle the love or whatnot, but no one wants to see divorced Rick O'Connell and Evie. No one wants that. Yeah. The other thing that I want to see, now, a thing I do want to see for this movie, even though I said Arnold Vosloo back as Imhotep, because, again, he's the big villain, the thing of it is, I wouldn't be opposed if they didn't bring back Vosloo and instead brought in another mummy character. Maybe, like, this could be, because Universal has another mummy in their repertoire, Kares. From the Lon Chaney Jr. Mummy films. Those are kind of the reboot ones after Imhotep. Why did I just blank on the name? I just literally said it. So yeah, could it be? I think it'd be kind of cool to do this universe's version of Kares, or maybe we could do a completely new mummy. Hell, It could maybe even be not a Mummy at all, but I think they'll go with it because it's a Mummy, the Mummy 4. But I think it'd be funny if it, like, instead of like the Mummy, it's Dracula or something. But I that's a long shot, very long shot. I find it also interesting that that Radio Silence were the guys that were picked for this big project, mostly because it kind of shows of where we're going to go with this film. That this movie may be scary, like a little scarier, but it is going to be fast-paced. That's the one thing you can always take away from a Radio Silence movie, is that these movies can be scary as well as very fast-paced and action-oriented. And what was the first of the Mummy franchise? Not Karloff's, I'm talking this one. 1999, fast-paced, and a little bit of horror. What have been Radio Silence's movies? Yeah, they're just bloodier versions of that. Will I think we'll get a more bloodier Mummy movie? Doubt it. Sincerely doubt it. They want to make this make money on all accounts, so this will probably be PG-13. I'd be shocked if it was R-rated. Another thing I am hoping for is I really just like, I wonder how big the budget is going to be. And it also, and I talked about this before, and it's funny that they talk about this because I just did a video talking about how, like, Blumhouse's film was going to be called The Resurrected. It's no longer The Mummy, and test screenings, which, well, you can't really trust test screenings some of the times. Maybe that's why they changed it from the Mummy to The Resurrected, because Universal was like, I think we're going to make another Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser, guys. Sorry, Lee. Oh, no, you can keep making the movie. We want the money. We're just going to make this instead. You're going to take that title real quick. Maybe that... I'm starting to lean towards maybe that's why. Maybe it wasn't so much the... I'm starting to think now maybe that wasn't the case. Is like, maybe now they wanted to have the Mummy IP for something bigger, and they instead went with Now, The Resurrected could still suck, but who knows? I'll still give it a look. But maybe that's why. It wasn't the fan reaction it was so bad. It was more like, we don't want this movie to be called The Mummy because we're going to do our own Mummy movie again. No, we're not going to do Tom Cruise. We're doing this. Yeah. Also, it makes me wonder of what era we're going to be in. Because they're going to be older, so is this going to be like 1950s, 1960s? Could it even be the 70s? Who knows? Maybe even present day. Well, they'd have to wear a lot of old man makeup. And just on a, just saying real quick, Universal, I am curious, if this movie does well, are you going to update the Revenge of the Mummy ride? And this would be a refurbishment that I would, depending on how well Mummy 4 does, the refurbishment I would greatly appreciate, but you have got to keep certain things, namely a certain cup of coffee. But yeah, I'm excited. Does this movie scream of, like, desperation and nostalgia bait? Yeah. Do I care? Fuck no. I never thought we'd get another Mummy film. But here we are. So let's effing go. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what are your hopes for this fourth Mummy movie? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.